We pulled out the stats. The top 10 returnees in the nation on the boys' side at 3,200/2 miles. 9 of them are in this race. The only one who is not in this race is Joe Rosa, who's on the sidelines of injury. So this field is the best field we've seen in a very, very long time. We just saw American Fork. They're in the red and the black. Keep an eye on them. There's Edina, Minnesota. You know, the Heartland champions. They were in that Heartland race. There is Elias Gideon from Loyola High School in Los Angeles, California. And his team also qualified this year, as they did last year as well. I mean, they are just shivering out there. And we see the Woodlands. They had a great showing last year. A podium team, of course, last year. Our defending champions, Bernie Champion out of Texas, ran so well. Really stepped up and answered the call on the big day. We'll see right now who takes care of it. Once again, on paper, the two teams that have a gap ahead of everybody else, American Fork of Utah, our Southwest region champion, and Arcadia of California, our California region top qualifier coming in. So great battle, 22 teams, 45 individuals, 199 athletes on that start line. And one of the most highly anticipated boys cross-country races in 10 years. Just about to begin. Once again, we'll have a cannon that's going to find the start of the race. Shortly after the start, we'll have fireworks going off in the sky. If there is actually a recall necessary, it's going to be a visual recall. There are marshals down the straightaway that will come out and throw their arms out wide. It'll be a cue to the runners to hold off. Like we're all about set. All the preparation, all the training, all the championship racing has led to this. And there is the cannon. And with it, 199 of the best runners in the United States are on their way. 2.5 miles of hard running ahead. And from the get-go, you see the battle right to the very front to get position. We'll see who gets out quick. And you can see all those guys looking around. Who wants to take this race and make it theirs? But last year they did not go out hard. Sometimes you have these great fields put together and they all look at one another for a while. But they're hauling right now. They really are. And another name to keep, on the base on the tip of your tongue, both team individually. Talking about Elmhurst of Illinois, of course, York High School. Jack Driggs is our front runner, a phenomenal leader in this field. They're one of the dark horses. They should be a top 5 finish if all goes to form. He was second in the Midwest Regional, right behind Lukas Verbicas. And then Zach Wills, another man that you've been talking about. He was last year's Midwest Region champion. He was 5th in this race last year and 3rd in the Midwest Region this year, but he held back just a little bit, maybe to save something for today's race. I was at the Midwest Regional a couple weeks ago over in Terre Haute, Indiana, and the thing that was really, that stood out in that race is at one point in time, just beyond the mile mark, Lukas Verbicas took over that race and set the pace. Lukas is known for going ahead and surging that middle mile. He threw down one surge to gap the field, threw down another to gap the field, and then about 1.4 miles, he threw a look over his shoulder to see how much of a gap he had on the field. Looked over his shoulder, and right in his face, right there was Zach Wills. I think he realized it's going to be a tough challenge. Is that Edward Cheserek? Trying to get a number visual. 330. He's a young Kenyan boy who came over to the United States earlier this year and goes to St. Benedict's Prep, I believe, in New Jersey. He was second at the Manhattan Invitational, where he sort of tangled up just a little bit with Jim Rosa, and he sort of vowed he vowed revenge because he thought that Rosa got in his way, and he tripped him up a little bit. I'm not sure that's him. I've seen that is Cheserek in the front. That is indeed Cheserek, and right there moving up, that appears to be Rosa right alongside him. Right. Anyway, I know we've seen Lukas Verbicas. He's got the longest sort of hair. We see in the green outfit with the black leggings, that is Elias Gideon. And that's Craig Lutz now moving up into the lead. Lutz and Cheserek going 1-2. Lutz is in that light blue. Again, that is number 330, Cheserek, tangled up with Rosa earlier this year. He is the number 2 runner out of the Northeast region this year. But again, we talked to Craig Lutz, and he says what he likes to do is he likes to sort of hold back that first 1,000 meters if he can. Now, it's hard to do on this course because you do need to get in position. He's in position right now, but he likes to save his energy for later on.
This is going to be interesting. Right now, it looked like we had in third place Zach Wills out of Ohio. This kid is a bulldog, but also he loves to, when he has a chance, set a very hard pace and test everyone else in the field. We also saw Elias Gideon out of California was among those in that lead pack.
You know, we want to congratulate our Gator drivers, and again, once again, numbers of ways of watching this NXN championship race. You can watch the program we're presenting to you. You can watch the lead camera bike. You can watch the chase camera bike.
And we have our 1K split scores. Arcadia in the lead, 233. Manlius in second, 322. Fort Collins of Colorado in third. So Manlius, a group that once again came on and pulled off. They defeated Shaker, which is a Latham club this weekend, a team that they lost to twice previously this year. Right now, Manlius stepping up in second. This morning, Tony got up at the hotel 5:30 in the morning, opened the door, went around. There were basically 3 signs of life. We saw basically the Nike security in the hotel rooms. We saw Nike security, we saw hotel staff, and Manlius as a group, team meeting 5:30 in the morning in the hotel lobby, and you could tell it was all about business. This group came to run not only on the girls' side, but on the boys' side as well.
Lutz, Cheserek, Verbicas, 1, 2, 3 here in the boys' competition, just 4 minutes and 5 seconds into it. Elias Gideon right there in 4th place. These are the favorites we expected, looking for Jim Rosa, Arcadia, Manlius, and Fort Collins.
So we've got Lutz, we've got Cheserek, we've got Lukas Verbicas in 3rd, Elias Gideon in 4th. Trying to get a visual on number 5. That's Sam Pons, also of California. That is
Sam Pons, the Division III champion, ran 15 flat last weekend in Fresno. I see Jim Rosa. He's in the white top and like the purple pants. He's about 6th place right now, well positioned.
Ammar Musse now in 7th for Arcadia. And Rosa also in the top 8. So all the favorites are just about all of them trying to get a visual on Zach Wills as well.
But it is Craig Lutz, our defending champion, who's setting this pace. And he's a strong runner. You can see it. He's got a burly build, and that's perfect. He's short, he's powerful, very good, not only because he won last year, but good in tough conditions.
And the kid is a game opposite. We've come very close to the barricades right there, almost actually. And how can we see now this shot from the pack? You see this big horde of individuals. Of course, that's where the team championship is won right then and there.
And I'm telling you, remember I said that this guy says, Lutz said, I'm going to try to win by a bigger margin. And we're saying, boy, that's a heck of a thing to be saying it against a field like this. But just like Christy Rutledge in the girls competition, he's gone to the front and really pushed this effort. And do you want to be the guy out front into that win, leading a field this deep?
Yeah, you definitely do. Right now we're seeing it looking like Craig Lutz is trying to push the pace. Right there responding to the move is Lukas Verbicas. Well, Cheserek right there. Cheserek looking very smooth over those hay bales.
Absolutely, and Verbicas right there on the inside. Let's go out to our on-field reporter. What have we got out there?
You know, guys, this is going to be an interesting individual race. Cheserek looks very comfortable. Lutz looks comfortable. Verbicas looks comfortable. Ammar Musse looks comfortable. I saw a grimace on Gideon's face, but he's sticking in there. He just made a surge. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be interesting to see how all these big dogs feel each other out this early part, middle part of the race, and how it will.
Chris, tell me about, do you want to be the leader early on in a race like this kind of field, this kind of condition?
You mentioned Bulldog earlier with Wills. You know, some of these guys, if they consider themselves a bulldog, they want to get out there and they want to make these track runners like Gideon hurt. And I think that's maybe Lutz's plan, Cheserek's plan. Ammar Musse takes the lead. Maybe he wants to make all these guys hurt. You wouldn't think a California guy running on the roads would want to put much in the mud, but maybe that's his plan.
Remember California last year at this meet, Tony, on the boys' side finished 2-4 in this race with Gideon and Musse.
Exactly, and they are very, very close friends. Gideon has already made the announcement that he's heading to the University of Oregon. Musse has not made his announcement. As we look at our team scores, Arcadia, Manlius, and Columbus cross country. Again, Columbus out of Indiana. They were the #1 ranked team coming into this. Coach Rick Weinheimer said they're as healthy now as they've been since September, and so far it looks like it's proving it out here on the Portland Meadows racecourse. So here's a race that we've long had our eye on. The boys continue to stream away, and we do have a definite lead pack. It's Ammar Musse, the two-time California Division I champion. He ran the second fastest time in the history of the Woodward Park course. That's a 24-year-old race course for California State Championship. So he's coming off a very strong performance where he needed to run that fast because the top 5 guys were under 15 minutes. His number 2 man on Arcadia, Sergio Gonzalez, was in 6th place at 15:02. And as Rich Gonzalez was saying earlier on, that's why he's such an important part of that Arcadia team, because nobody can run that fast as a second man.
Right, no one has a number 2 man that has an answer for that. We saw one of our top individuals, Chris Walden out of Indiana, like he was the one that took a spill right on the hay bales. He was in that top 12 and basically came down and slugged one of those pretty good. So we'll see right now as they're coming down toward that home straight for the second time.
Lutz in the light blue, Gideon with a little bit of stumble. He's in the green on the right of the screen. And then Lukas Verbicas, he's got the arm warmers on. The Kenyan-born Edward Cheserek, he's in the back of this pack. And tucked right in the middle is Ammar Musse from Arcadia, who has among these athletes the team that's also on his backside as well. Not only the individual title, but Arcadia going for the big title as well from the team competition.
And one of the individuals that was gapped very quickly was Samuel Pons out of South Pasadena, California. He's now in that second pack, and it's turned into a big deficit quickly. Most wonder if he had problems with those hay bales.
And Jim Rosa is also back there as well. So it's Lutz, Verbicas, Gideon, Musse, and Cheserek in this boys competition. And here's our chase pack cam showing some of the athletes as the sun is beginning to sneak out, but it has not gotten any warmer, I can tell you that much, as the wind continues to howl here in Portland Meadows. Craig Lutz, defending champion, South Region champion, 3K at just about 9:29. But again, this is not about how fast you can run time-wise. This is about who you beat and when you do it.
A 3K split, 9:26.
Officially.
It's about a 15:44 pace for the full 5K.
Yeah, last year, once again, that shows you the conditions. The girls ran about 50 seconds slower than they did last year, and the boys running about almost 35 seconds slower at that pace than they did last year.
Our 2K split, just beyond 3K, but our 2K split, our last one was Arcadia at 2:08, Manlius at 2:64, Columbus North at 3:51, Fort Collins at 3:61. So Arcadia out quickly, trying to hold off the challenges, and the stiffest one from Manlius of New York.
Well, Manlius of New York was certainly not one of the top-ranked teams coming into this competition, but as Coach Bill Harris and his son John, co-coach, was saying earlier, when we won this race in 2006, the first time for the girls, and of course they won for the 5th time earlier this morning, they were unranked, and they peaked at the right time. That team has a way of getting it done when the time is right.
Right, and I don't think, in all honesty, I mean, we mentioned about the focus that the program has. I talked with Bill the other day, and he's talking about the girls and the boys program. And the boys, he has some high goals, but really, when we talked, winning it all wasn't one of those. So this would be a great effort to get on the podium here.
And there's Lukas Verbicas now going in front. Just a great long-legged triathlete. Again, in September in Budapest, Hungary, he was 4th place at the World Junior Triathlon Championships. He was 45th coming off the bike. He ran a 15:25K split, moved all the way up to 4th position. And we talked to him earlier. Of course, he doesn't know whether he's going to be a professional triathlete or a professional runner. Both of those sports are trying to pull at him, saying, man, this is the one you got to choose.
It's nice to have those kind of choices.
You know, he's a tough kid. Now, the Roses did beat him at the outdoor 2-mile last year, but earlier in June of this year, in the New York Grand Prix at the Jim Ryan Dream Mile, he won that race convincingly, and now he's got himself a gap as we are 11:40 into it. Verbicas, Cheserek, and Lutz with a gap over Musse, who's got a gap. And I don't see Elias Gideon anymore. No sign at all.
Gideon's back in 9th.
He has really been broken, and broken badly. A big move by Lukas Verbicas, and a lot of people thought this guy was the talent. Again, he's the defending, reigning 2009 Foot Locker national champion. He's going to go back to San Diego next weekend and defend that title as well. And nobody has ever doubled up in both these championships.
And here he goes now, late in that middle mile, throwing that surge, trying to break this race open. Now we've seen he's only lost a few times in his high school career, and each time it appears it was more of a tactical mistake where he tried to push too hard and really push himself into the red zone, and others just seize the opportunity. So we'll see as he learns more and more about racing. Remember, he hasn't had that many races in cross country or track and field. He's coming from triathloning. As he gains experience, he's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher to beat.
Oh, absolutely. Here he is with the lead. 15 minutes and 9 seconds was the winning time last year by Craig Lutz in a great three-man sprint. But over those hay bales for the second time, Verbicas has definitely got himself a margin. What long legs he's got, you know, he uses all that swimming and cycling to build strength. He comes into off his triathlon season, all he does is add a little speed. He's already got the base, and look at him go. Tremendous, tremendous talent. And he has got himself a margin.
He's got about a 4-second lead on Cheserek, who's in second, trying to hold on to that tough pace.
Well, Edward Cheserek is only 16 years old. He's a sophomore out of St. Benedict's Prep in New Jersey. Any surprise there? I mean, because he doesn't go to the New Jersey Meet of Champions. It's a private school he's involved in, so he doesn't go into that public school sort of tournaments. And this was his big chance at the national level for the first time. Of course, he's Kenyan. But that doesn't hurt.
When he arrived on the scene back in August, Jim Lambert does a great job of covering the sport, and that Peg to the Woods immediately said, hey, this kid is one to watch. Of course, you know, Cheserek has not disappointed. Very well right now. He's currently in second. Looks like alongside, we're trying to get an idea. It's still Lutz, Craig Lutz, yeah. But they are about maybe a good 15 to 20 meters behind Verbicas.
And look how easy that stride is coming out of Lukas Verbicas. I mean, now it looks like Cheserek has moved into second place in front of Craig Lutz. But once again, we have seen the tremendous finishing speed of Craig Lutz on this course last year. But you can't have too much of a gap. You can't ask to make up too much ground.
Right.
Here's Arcadia with Manlius and Columbus cross country, and that's the boys continue to be 1, 2, 3 as they have for the last couple of kilometers. Are we surprised by Manlius in second place here?
You know what's definitely surprised, and we knew they were going to run very well today, but finishing in second, again finishing on the podium, that's quite a statement. Currently in second, Arcadia still in the lead, 191 to I believe it was 266 through a 4K split.
4K, so it's Arcadia looking to be the first boys team from California to win here at NXN.
Verbicas and Lutz. Lutz trying to close the gap. Looks like about 12 meters right now, so definitely within contact. We're reading this right from a distance. This race is not yet over.
You know, the thing about Columbus, too, is they lost Christopher Kelsey, their #1 runner, in mid-September with a broken bone in his foot. He's now come back. Tim Hoffmeister, another one of their top guys, he went down just before the state meet. So they've had to go, so a lot of problems that they've had to overcome and have done so, and have come to the fore and still stay in third place after 4 kilometers here at the Nike Cross Nationals. But look at the speed that is being generated by Lukas Verbicas out of Orland Hills, Illinois.
Verbicas trying to really power away here on this last stretch, making the turn, heading for home, and he's really opened up a nice big gap on the field. Here he comes down the home straight, Lukas Verbicas.
I mean, this has been a dominating performance against the greatest field in the last 10 years in boys high school cross country. But here comes Edward Cheserek from New Jersey in second. Verbicas with a smile on his face, a look over his shoulder, and he's going to win it in 15:59. Cheserek in second. Craig Lutz, the defender, in third. Pretty big gap. Ammar Musse from California in fourth. Musse in fourth. Sam Pons, no, who's that? 272.
Lane Worley of California in fifth. Here comes Ryan Urey with that famous kick from California in sixth.
There goes Kenji Berrig.
Brian Golke also out of Texas in sixth.
And guys coming across the ditch, running hard. North Spokane with 2 runners coming right in through the finish line now. Here's a Manlius boy. Looking for more of these
Manlius.
Two more Manlius. Boy, and here comes Elias Gideon coming across in almost a minute behind our leaders.
Here comes our 2 and 3 from Arcadia.
Have we had 4 from Manlius come through?
Have not spotted a 4 yet for Manlius.
Boy, this is where the meat is won and lost in this gathering right here.
There comes another for Arcadia right here coming across.
So many of these guys are so well packed. American Fork just coming through.
Arcadia with now 5 in the chute.
There's Arcadia's 5th. Just Lincroft. I've seen a couple of Lincroft.
You see right now Rosa barely coming across right now.
Jim Rosa and Elias Gideon really got broken out there today.
They definitely did. They definitely did. And just kind of feel
another Manlius
right here.
There's a Manlius coming across the line. That could be 4 Manlius. Who have we had 5 of so far?
So far, Arcadia is the only one that I've seen with certainty here.
So it looks for sure, almost. North Spokane with another. 2 Los Angeles cross-country runners. There's another Arcadia. But it looks like Arcadia has got 6 in.
It appears they held together best over that final mile. So team-wise, it appears right now, did not get a good look on my end at American Fork at the finish. So hopefully we did not miss some of their key runners. They may also be in the mix as well. Of course, individually, we saw last year, Verbicas won, Foot Locker by a large margin. This field today was a much tougher field, and the gap was apparently just 2 seconds. So definitely very tough. We saw Cheserek finishing well in the end and only a sophomore. Just so impressive coming into a race of this caliber against these experienced runners and finishing in 2nd.
Because the league that he's running against, the kind of athletes he's running, is just nowhere near the level of competition that we see in other these big public school leagues. And for him to come out here, and we knew that he was actually angry at that Manhattan Invitational because he went down at the end of the race and thought that Jim Rosa actually had impeded on his pace and forced him to go down, and he vowed revenge. Well, he revenged himself on what anger works, because Edward Cheserek from the Northeast and St. Benedict's Prep out there in New Jersey has come to the fore here at Portland Meadows and taken 2nd place at the Nike Cross Nationals.
And that winning time unofficial, if we cut it right, 15:59. And when you have athletes of this caliber taking 16 minutes to run a 5K, you know, obviously it was a very, very tough challenge.
Tough, exactly. Because last weekend in Fresno, we had 5 Division I boys going under 15 minutes.
Right.
There on that Woodward Park course, which is not a dead flat course.
No,
it's got some significant hills in those 2nd and 3rd miles.
Okay, we've now got Chris Zielinski back in the finish area with some of our top runners. Chris?
Hey,